Hello everyone. I wanted to continue on my legend series, and today I wanted to give one of the greatest batsmen that England have produced, Graham Gooch. He was born July 23rd, 1953, in Essex. His full name was Graham Allen Gooch, and he was obviously the captain of Essex and also England for a long time. And he has a record, like he has scored more than 67,000 runs, including first class and limited overs game. And even in List A cricket, I mean, he has more than 22,000 runs, which is a record. He played 118 test matches for England, and he scored 8,900 runs at an average of 42.58. And he scored 20 hundreds, and his highest was 333 against India, which came at Lords, which even the second innings he actually scored 123 runs. And he has more than 100 catches as well in test matches, and he has a few wickets as well, like 30 something wickets. And in first class cricket, I mean, he has scored almost 45,000 runs with an amazing 128 first class hundreds. And he also took actually 246 wickets at first class level. And he also has 555 catches at first class level. I mentioned it because it is 555, because it's the number rhyming, because his highest score is also 333. And he has also played 125 one-day internationals, and he scored almost 4,300 runs, and he scored 800s as well. And I mean, Graham Gooch was, I mean, he played from the 70s up until 90s, early 90s, and he was one of the finest batsmen of his generation, and he really piled on the runs in test matches and in first class cricket as well. He scored tons of runs for his county as well. And he played for Essex, obviously, all his life. And he also played a couple of seasons with the Western Province in South Africa. I mean, he was banned from international cricket for 3 years for going on a rebel tour to South Africa during those times. Just like Derek Underwood, I did mention, a lot of players from many countries have been banned because they went to South Africa on a rebel tour. But the players used to go during those days. And Graham Gooch, I mean, he actually has an average of almost 45 against the West Indies. And Graham Gooch played at a time when West Indies was a big dominating force in cricket, especially with their big, great fast bowlers in the 70s and 80s. And Graham Gooch actually has scored almost 2,200 runs in test matches against West Indies at an average of almost 45. So that is a very magnificent effort from Graham Gooch to average that much against the great West Indian bowling attack. And his first three test centuries actually came against West Indies as well. And once he scored in 1991 against West Indies at Headingley in the second innings, I mean, which is the last fourth innings, he scored 154 not out, which was a match-winning knock. And that is regarded as one of the greatest innings in test matches by critics and former players as well, because it came against a very highly rated West Indian bowling attack, pace attack, under cloudy conditions, and also it was an unpredictable pitch as well. And in that match, in that innings, only two of his teammates got to double figures as well. So it shows how great a knock it was. And I mean, people who have obviously, all the people who probably watch this video, they have all seen matches in England. You know how difficult it is to bat when the ball really swings around in overcast conditions, and even and when the pitch was also unpredictable. And imagine the West Indian bowling attack in those times. So to score 154 not out when only two of other players have got to double figures, that is like a monumental single-handed effort. I mean, no wonder why it is rated as one of the greatest innings in Test match history. And he also has another record. I mean, that the 333 that he scored against India at Lords, in the second innings he scored 123 runs as well. So his aggregate was 456 runs for that test match. I mean, it is still a world record in test cricket. No one has scored more than 456 runs in a test match. Kumar Sangakkara of Sri Lanka also once scored a triple hundred and a century in the second innings, but still he didn't come to 456. So Graham Gooch still holds that record. And another record that Graham Gooch has is that he is the first player to make 20 Test appearances at the Lord's cricket ground. And he is also someone who has also got another record, which is he has played in three different World Cups in 3 decades. That is not something that you will often find in players. He played the 1979 World Cup, he played the 1987 World Cup, and he also played that 1992 World Cup. 3 World Cups in 3 decades. And he also has the distinction of being the only player, to make make the finals in all the World Cups that he has played. In 1979, 87, and 1992, England made the finals. In 1979, they lost to West Indies, obviously. 87, they lost to Australia in that Reliance World Cup when Border was the captain. And 1992, they lost to Pakistan when Imran Khan was the captain. And Graham Gooch, was a very stylish batsman. He had all the shots. And one thing that I will say is that these days a lot of batsmen pick up the bat. Personally, I do not pick up the bat. I've never held the bat up in the air in my life. I've always grounded it down. And even today, I bat like that. Not very few batsmen do hold the bat down these days. Almost none. But Graham Gooch was someone who did that in the early times. In the 80s, late 80s, 90s. Graham Gooch is someone who used to hold the bat high. So that's something notable about him. And that 1987 World Cup, Reliance World Cup, in that semi-final against India at Wankhede Stadium, Bombay, Graham Gooch scored an amazing 100. And he had that big partnership with Mike Gatting as well. And he really swept a lot. He repeatedly kept sweeping the Indian spinners and Gatting as well. And I have to say that basically Gooch and Gatting swept India out of that 1987 World Cup semi-finals, out of that match. A lot of people will have memories of that. That is one of the finest one-day innings that he has played in his life. And Gatting did play one of those, the loose reverse sweep shot against Australia in the finals to get out as well. And that is one of my earliest memories as well, watching cricket. I was only 4 years old, but I still remember Graham Gooch and Mike Gatting sweeping a lot against India in that semi-final. I also remember the 1985 when Shivaramakrishnan, Shastri Gavaskar, when Shastri got the car, that tournament in Australia. I was only 3 years old. It's probably hard to believe, but I do have good memories of that. Shivaramakrishnan, Sadananda Vishwanath all playing. But anyway, Graham Gooch and Gatting, that 1987 World Cup is one of my great memories from young childhood. Anyway, Graham Gooch does have a lot of records in his name, and he's also got another record. In his 118 Test matches that he played, he had 113 teammates, different teammates, and that is a world record. No other player has had 113 different teammates. So that is another record that Graham Gooch has. He also has another record. He scored 752 runs in a 3-test match series. And that is also a world record. No one has scored more than that in a 3-test match series. So Graham Gooch, having a lot of records in his name. He against the West Indies, like I said, he was really good. He really had, obviously he was a really good player of pace. Otherwise, you wouldn't average 45 against that West Indian attack in those times. And his test average is almost like 55 against India as well. So he really could play spin as well. He was an excellent player of pace and spin. He was a totally complete batsman with a full array of strokes. He had all the shots in his armory. High average against India and against West Indies, showing he was really good against pace and spin. And he did a lot for Essex, scoring tons of runs for Essex as well. So that is my video on Graham Gooch, one of the finest batsmen of all time and one of the greatest batsmen that England have produced. And when Graham Gooch retired from Test cricket, obviously he was the highest Test run scorer for England at that point, with 8,900 runs was a record. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and you probably, a lot of people would definitely like Graham Gooch. In the 80s and early 90s, Graham Gooch was like a sensation. It was an absolutely joy to watch him bat. so a lot of people would have memories of him. And by the way, I would be putting a second coaching video, a part two, tomorrow. So I will be putting a video that I've been promised in my first video as well, that I'll be putting a part two with flick shots, square cuts, and pull shots. So I'll be putting that tomorrow. Thank you for joining in. Hope you enjoy this video. Please keep supporting me, and please do make some comments about your memories about Graham Gooch and what you think about Graham Gooch. Thank you so much. Take care, and God bless you.